Chapter 14. Jared spent the day making sure the cabin was clean. He hadn't been here long, but he washed his sheets anyway. He didn't expect her to stay, but in case she chose to, he wanted to be prepared. It had been almost a year since he'd invited a woman over, and never one who he'd liked as much as Ashley. He considered and discarded several ideas for dinner, then eventually drove to Brighton, the same town with the small restaurant where they'd eaten a couple nights earlier, and picked up a few groceries. Most of it he could probably have gotten at her family's store, but he'd noticed when he was there the day before that they didn't have fresh meat. Everything they had was frozen. It made sense. Frozen kept longer and meant less waste, it just wasn't what he wanted for tonight. Once he'd returned, he began cooking. He glanced at the clock to find it was almost 6. Ashley should be here any minute. Jared checked his clothes, making sure he hadn't splashed himself with anything, checked the food, and looked out the large window that overlooked the lake. The sun was starting to set on the far side of the lake. The sky appeared as if it were painted with brilliant reds and oranges, which were reflected in amazing detail on the water. It was a stunning view. Grabbing his phone, he stepped out onto the back deck and took several photos. On a whim, he opened the texting app and attached one. He captioned it, "See Mom, it's beautiful up here," then hit send. He was tucking his phone into his pocket when the whine of a small engine caught his attention. A quick look around revealed someone on a jet ski headed his way, but not from the direction he'd expected. Instead, it came from where Ashley's cabin sat. After a moment, he could make out Ashley at the controls, her hair down and flying in the breeze. He watched as she brought the little vehicle close to the dock attached to his porch, and went down to offer her a hand. As he reached the edge of the dock, Ashley tossed him a rope. He caught it, and awkwardly wrapped it around the cleat on the dock, like the skiff on the other side. It was something he was still learning to do, and wasn't completely comfortable with yet. Once done, he stood and offered her a hand. She took it, and used it to maintain her balance while she stepped off the bobbing watercraft and onto the dock. "You look nice," he said once she had both feet on solid ground. "Thanks, I went home and changed out of my dusty work clothes." "It was worth it." He looked her up and down. "Come on in." He motioned for her to go first. "Make yourself at home," he said once they were inside. "I need to check on dinner." "Can I get you something to drink?" "Just water." He checked the food, fixed her drink, and joined her on the sofa. "How was your day?" He handed her the water as he sat beside her. "Not bad." She shrugged one shoulder. "I stayed busy and the day went quickly." "That's good." They made small talk until dinner was ready, and while they ate. "You want to watch something?" Jared offered once the meal was over and he'd cleaned up. "There's a good selection of discs in the cabinet under the TV." "A movie sounds good," Ashley said. "What kind of film are you in the mood for?" She went to the cabinet and scanned the titles. "I'm open to whatever you are. Do you want something more to drink?" "I've got soda, tea and water." "Tea would be nice." "Hot or iced?" She turned back to look at him for a moment. "Hot sounds great if you don't mind." "If I minded, I wouldn't have offered." He took out mugs and added water to the coffee maker, leaving the grounds basket empty as he started the pot. "How's this?" Jared turned to find Ashley offering a Blu-ray case. He looked at the movie without taking it. It was a fairly new version of The Legend of King Arthur. It was a different take on the story, but intriguing. He'd heard about it, but hadn't seen it. "Looks good. Can you start it?" "I'll be just a minute here." "Sure." She went back into the living room. Jared set the tea steeping and carried their mugs in to join her. "Here you are." "It's still steeping so you can decide when it's dark enough." Do you put anything in it? Sugar, milk? I might have a little honey. Nope, I'm good just like this. She wrapped both hands around the mug and pulled it close to her face, where she inhaled the gently rising steam. Oh, it smells amazing. I hope you like it, it's my favorite. He sat beside her and picked up the remote. You ready? Whenever you are. Ashley sat forward and set her cup on the coffee table. Wait, before the movie starts, I need to use the restroom. Sure, it's right down there, first door on the left. He pointed toward the short hall. I'll get through the previews, then wait for you. I won't be gone that long. She disappeared down the short hall, and he turned his attention back to the screen.